Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility Change of Command. Attending today's ceremony are senior military officers, civilian officials, commanding officers of ships and shore activities, as well as families and friends of Captain Markle and Captain Wolfson. We are honored by your presence. Staff, attention. Bosun, post the side boys. Guests, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing during our national anthem and invocation. Bandmaster, sound attention. Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility arriving. Captain, United States Navy, arriving. Naval Sea Systems Command, arriving. Color Guard, parade the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Color Guard, retire the colors.
Shoulder, arm. Right, face. Mark time, march. Forward, march. Ready, two.
Father Derek Lappy will deliver the invocation.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Heavenly Father, today we come to you with thanksgiving for all of the gifts that you give us, our faith, our family, our nation, our freedom. Help us always to receive these gifts with gratitude and a sense of responsibility. Let us never forget that your many gifts should lead us to a life of service and charity to others. We offer our prayers to you of gratitude for Captain Markle and his wife and family. Their time here at the shipyard and in Bremerton is ending, and they are moving to new places that you have called them to serve. We ask you to be with them and keep them safe as they travel, and bless them in their new home. Today we ask also your blessings upon Captain Dianna Wolfson and her family. Grant abundant blessings upon her and her time and work here, and all who work under her command, that in safety and peace they might carry out this important work entrusted to them. Bless our whole Navy community with a sense of pride in their accomplishments and humility in your merciful gifts. Let all our words and actions this day and every day be for your greater glory, you who live and reign with the Father and the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Bosun, retire the sideboys.
Sideboys eyes. Seven, left, right, face. Forward, hard.
Guests, please be seated. Staff, at ease. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Howard Markle, Commander, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility.
Thanks, and thanks to all of you for coming today. I'll start with the welcomes. We'll try and keep this relatively short, but there's a couple here. Vice Admiral Moore, thanks for coming and officiating today. Thanks for the award, which I clearly didn't deserve, but I appreciate it anyway. Mayors Wheeler, Patansu, along with former Mayor Lent, thanks for coming. Representative McEwen, Rear Admiral Whitney, Rear Admiral Williamson, Rear Admiral Yount, Rear Admiral Bryant, who did I miss? Oh, Rear Admiral Berkey. Deeply appreciate you coming. As former shipyard commanders, we all aspire to your greatness, and your presence here is a clear reminder of how far the shipyard's come since you left. So, the representatives representing Senator Cantwell, Senator Murray, Congressman Kilmer, thanks. Councilman Huddy and Wheat. Rear Admiral Perry, unfortunately Rear Admiral Gray was called. The Coast Guard's trying to put Coast Guard cutters up in Everett, and he's up there trying to bound that for us, so I appreciate his thoughts on his way to Everett today. Mr. Knoll, Mr. DeHaven, Mr. Bordnick, Mr. Largy, Ms. Becker, Major Commanders, fellow commanding officers, Command Master Chiefs, and community partners. All duties, honors, privileges, salutes, salutations, and everything else stand in effect. I won't go through you all, but you're welcome, and I appreciate you being here. Thanks. I truly appreciate my local friends who have joined us here today and have made this our home, and the latest in a long line of great places we've had opportunity to live. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you welcoming my family in and making us welcome here, and I greatly appreciate your presence today. Mom, thanks for coming. I know you didn't have a lot else to do today, but I greatly appreciate you being here. Thanks for your example of strong work ethic and earning one's paycheck. You are a shining example of the foundation that makes this country great. Thanks. But most importantly of all, oh, thank you. To all the many millions of people watching on Facebook today, all right, it's a couple, but I appreciate you being here as well. Most importantly, to all the employees of Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, Intermediate Maintenance Facility, Trident Reef Facility, and the Northwest Regional Maintenance Center, I appreciate you being here. I know you're stuck in the ergonomically correct stand-up seating, but I greatly appreciate your presence here, and it truly is an honor to have served with you. Hold on. Oh, there it is. I hate it when the pages stick together. And I'd also like to take this opportunity, as with all things done here at the shipyard, this really was a well-done event. To the many shops, codes, all the folks involved, the region, the base, why I'm on the base, I'll once again mention it's very important. The lighted sun by the sun exits on either end of the building or where you exit, see them? Clearly, the exit nearest you may be and is likely and is behind you. Follow the people in the yellow vest or in the orange vest. They will lead you to said exits in case you miss them. It's where the sun is, okay? I would also, the lawyers and my PAO asked me, the scope of any speech I give is far and vast and frankly a surprise to me as well. My remarks are not for attribution. They clearly are not on the record, and if you have any questions about what I said, please bring them to Capt. Wolfson's attention after the ceremony. It is my distinct pleasure today to introduce our guest speaker, Vice Admiral Thomas Moore. Clearly a plank ogre on the Ark. Made that joke for you, Father. Been around the Navy a long time. Commissioned from the Naval Academy in 1981. Started his tour after he completed his times on oars and sails as a nuclear-trained surface warfare officer on the cruisers South Carolina and Virginia, then on to Enterprise where he was on the crew for the refueling overhaul. That would start his 25 years of service on aircraft carriers and all that is aircraft carriers. Spent some time at Newport News for the refueling overhauls, including the first year on Nimitz, a couple of stints on the OpNav staff, and then 5 years as the program manager for in-service aircraft carriers. Almost seemed to most of us like he was never going to leave. And then 5 years as the program executive officer for aircraft carriers. He just completed on the 10th, on Monday, his third year in command of Naval Sea Systems Command, overseeing a global workforce of nearly 80,000 that are responsible for the development, the delivery, and maintenance of the Navy ships, submarines, and systems. Please join me in giving a round Puget Sound Naval Shipyard warm welcome for Vice Admiral Thomas Moore.
Well, good morning. This is the 6th of 9 change of command retirement speeches I'm giving this summer, and I have to say it's the first time that I've had to follow a comedian. So that's a pretty tough act to follow. We're all Howard's bling here today, by the way. I mean, this is what it's all about. And for the shipyard folks out there, it is nothing better than seeing a sea of hats and glasses. So thank you so much for what you do for our country each and every day. It's an honor to be here for Howard's change of command, but particularly an honor here today to talk to the men and women here that are at Puget Sound every day doing fantastic work on behalf of our country. Fellow flag officers, members of the Senior Executive Service, retired flag officers, and I should note 4 former Puget Shipyard, Naval Shipyard commanders, soon to be 5, members of the Markle and Wolfson family, and to the entire Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility organization. Good morning. It is always wonderful to get outside of Washington, D.C., and it's even better to be in the beautiful Pac Northwest for the time-honored tradition of a change of command where Captain Dianna Wolfson will relieve Captain Howard Markle as the next shipyard commander of this historic national asset, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility. And I don't mince words when I say national asset, because that's what this place is, and that's what you are. It's a great honor for me to have the opportunity to officiate this ceremony for two tremendous naval officers, two officers who I have watched closely over the years as they have climbed the ranks as the leaders within the engineering duty officer community and within the Navy as a whole. They represent the best of both today and the future, and I can assure the audience that the Navy is in very good hands because of these two tremendous leaders. Now, before I go any further, I'd like to add a very special welcome to the Markle and Wolfson families. I'll start with Howard's family because it's likely going to take about 15 minutes. In case you didn't know, Howard and his wife Jo are one child away from being able to field an entire baseball team. They first met while attending Penn State and now have been married 26 years and have 8 children. Jo is a former naval officer and has expertly led the Markle household and homeschooled all 8 children. And Jo, I want to personally thank you for all you have done to support both your family and Howard's career. My father was a career naval officer, reaching the rank of captain, but I would not be standing here today if it was not for my mother, who expertly ran a household, raised 3 children, and supported my father's career. While there will be many well-deserved plaudits today for Howard, I have no doubt that none of that would have been possible without you. And so I'd like to, how about a round of applause? And the good news is 6 of the 8 children are with us today. First, we have Stephanie, who's a middle school teacher in Clayton, North Carolina. Son Nick, who is 19 and just graduated high school. Daughter Danny, who is 17 and will be starting her senior year in high school. Twins John Paul and Ellie, who are 13 and will be starting high school this year. And the youngest, Luke, who is 11 years old and starting 6th grade. Unable to attend is their son Derek, who is a senior at Franciscan University, where he's studying accounting and management and currently on a summer internship. And last but not least, their oldest child, Maria, who is an ER nurse at the Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. Maria is currently pregnant with her 2nd child and couldn't travel. Her firstborn, Jamie, is 18 months old, so congratulations to Maria and also to the proud grandparents. I'd also like to welcome Howard's mother, Liz. It's great to have you here as we honor your son today. This is a long history of working in the garment industry, and that blue-collar tradition of valuing hard work has certainly rubbed off on Howard. Welcome to the entire Markle family. On Diana's side, I would like to welcome Diana's husband, Matt. Matt and Diana have been married for 18 years and have 2 children, Madison, who is 14, and Hunter, who is 9. Hunter's decked out very well back there. Hunter told me this morning, I was looking at that tie, and I said, that is a fantastic tie. Do you tie that? And he goes, no, it's clip-on. But Diana's sister, Dana Alberico, and her husband, Ron, are here today from Clarendon, New York, with 2 of their children, Zachary and Gabrielle. Also in attendance are Diana's in-laws, Marcia and Tony Lavelle from Lower Lake, California. Where are you? Right there. I understand that as of yesterday, you celebrated your 52nd wedding anniversary, so congratulations. That's fantastic. Now, although Diana's parents could not be here in person today, Diana has showed them how to watch the ceremony on Facebook. And Diana, if your mom's anything like my mom, good luck. But anyway, so how about everybody give a wave to the camera, to Diana's parents? Everybody out there wave, get the pan around. And please make sure to remember that you are being recorded on social media today. Diana's parents have been married for 45 years. They live now in Fort Myers, Florida. Diana's father served in the Army and did 2 tours in Vietnam and received a Bronze Star. Thank you, sir, for your service, and welcome to everybody. And I also couldn't pass up the opportunity to give a great big shout out to the tribe of Diana's girlfriends coming from the United States Merchant Marine Academy. Where are you sitting? Yeah, there we go, right back there. Okay. Some of those she hasn't seen since she graduated. I know Diana, as I talked to her this morning, is very humbled that you could celebrate this momentous occasion with her. Now, traditionally, the guest speaker's primary role is to talk about the outgoing commander's accomplishments, and I will certainly get to that. But before I do that, I wanted to take a few moments and directly address the tremendous workforce here at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility. In today's era of great power competition, you are on the very front line of ensuring we have combat-ready ships ready for tasking, and you are absolutely knocking it out of the park. As I said yesterday during the award ceremony, the 4 shipyards are kind of like my children. I love all my children, and they're all national assets. But as I stand here today, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard is the gold standard by which everyone else is being measured. Under Captain Markle's leadership, you have won multiple awards, to include being a 4-time winner of the Secretary of the Navy's Energy and Water Management, NAVSEA's Commander's Award for Innovation, the Navy Community Service Program Award for STEM, and the Robert T. Mason Award for Depot Maintenance Excellence, in recognition of being the top depot maintenance facility, not just in the Navy, but in the entire Department of Defense. How about a round of applause for these men and women? So you want to know why they're the gold standard? I'll tell you why. They've delivered the last 7, count them, 7 aircraft carriers on time, 4 of them early, to include the most recent 4-day early delivery of the Navy's oldest combat warship, USS Nimitz, from a 15-month docking availability. First time we've delivered a docking availability early in more than 10 years. Nimitz turned 44 last month and is probably older than some people sitting on the podium, not me, but you wouldn't know that if you were to walk that ship. This is a true testament to both the crew and to Puget Sound Naval Shipyard. And the amazing thing about this, as I look at the workforce today, as we've grown the naval shipyards, is half this workforce has been here for less than 5 years. And yet you're still knocking it out of the park. It's pretty amazing. Great organizations don't stay great organizations forever. It takes a lot of work. But when I look out at the workforce here at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, I see a dynasty coming that will rival even the New England Patriots. So on behalf of our entire Navy, thank you for everything you do each and every day. Now let me talk a little bit about Captain Howard Markle, because at the end of the day, the commander is ultimately accountable and responsible for everything that goes on under his command. Now Howard will tell you that all the credit goes to his team, but under his leadership, his team has had an amazing track record of success. And he has done that by creating an environment where employees can be successful. He's done that by focusing on the health and welfare of his workforce. He's done that by caring about their development and empowering them to lead and get their work done successfully. He's done that through focused leadership and mentorship. And he's done that by focusing first on the safety of his workforce and the quality of their work, knowing that there are no shortcuts to doing the job right, and that by focusing on safety and quality first, that superior cost and schedule and performance would follow. And the results speak for themselves. Over the last 46 months, Howard led a workforce of nearly 14,000 civilians and 800 military personnel in maintaining and modernizing the Pacific Fleet's aircraft carrier and ballistic missile submarine fleet. During Howard's time, his team delivered every carrier availability early or on schedule, including successfully completing four deployed Naval Force carrier availabilities. In fact, I had a chance to talk to a bunch of the folks that go out to Reagan, and in fact, one of the people that's been doing this for 12 straight years. I really appreciate you guys spending 6 months of your year over there in the 7th Fleet. It's absolutely unbelievable what you're doing. This work includes an emergent SSNBN sonar dome repair drive, 9 C&O availabilities, including 2 SSNBN refuelings, 59 SSNBN refits, 6 reactor compartment disposals, 4 submarine activations, with the last 2 inactivations early. That is an impressive track record. He has played a huge role in laying the groundwork for the Shipyard Infrastructure Optimization Plan, a much-needed investment designed to update our aging shipyard infrastructure so we can keep up with the growing demands of ship maintenance as the Navy reaches its goal of 355 ships. Now, Howard was always more than just about the pure numbers. As I frequently do when I'm preparing for these speeches, I will canvass people who know the individual well to get feedback about the individual that you won't find in his bio. Generally, the feedback is a mix of funny stories and testimonials about what the individual accomplished from a leadership perspective. And frankly, most of Howard's were in the latter category, which, given Howard's infamous sarcastic sense of humor, was actually a little disappointing to me. I was looking forward to the opportunity to get up here and roast him a little bit. But no worries, Howard. Now that Howard has hit the jackpot and accepted the job to come be my EA in Washington, D.C., I'm sure I'm going to get a chance to put the sense of humor to the test. After all, Howard, you're going to be going from managing 14,000 civilians and 800 military personnel to keeping track of 2 lieutenants, running the copier, answering the phone, and keeping me out of trouble. A monumental task, let me tell you. But there were a few testimonials. I'd like to read 2 of them because I think they really speak to the essence of who Howard Markle is. One of these was from one of his former shipyard commanders. He said it was clear from day one that he had command of the department and had earned the trust and confidence of the civilian leadership immediately. And this from one of his contemporaries. Howard is a great people person that engenders trust and confidence. His humor is infectious. I don't know if it was infectious, but it's pretty good. He used to throw Ray Gibson's phone into the middle of the horseshoe during the big management meeting if it wasn't on vibrate. He's the epitome of character and competence. He deeply cares about people and does the right thing for their growth and development. And I'd also add it is not a coincidence that when in August, that 2 of the 4 shipyard commanders in the Navy will have worked for Howard as department heads, a true testament to his mentoring and leadership skills. Now, truth be told, I did get a couple of stories about how he had a quirky way of playing with whatever was in front of him, such as the mute button, that he was regularly disassembling the microphones in the emergency control center. I understand the ECV people actually gave him a microphone as a going-away gift. And I also heard that, and so please, for the Markle children, please cover your ears, that he used to use the security cameras in his office to spy on his kids in his front yard. Now, I don't know how much money, Howard, it took to keep some of these other things off my radar screen, but let me just tell you, it must have been a lot. Howard, you and Joe should be incredibly proud of your accomplishments, not only here at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, but throughout your entire naval career. You have been a remarkable leader and mentor who is undoubtedly has many years ahead of him serving this great Navy. I am truly looking forward to working alongside you in Washington, D.C. in the year ahead. Please, well done. Now, luckily for us, we have a great officer coming in behind Howard in Captain Dianna Wolfson. She is the very best our Navy has to offer. Dianna is a fantastic leader with proven success in a range of demanding jobs over her career. I have known Dianna since she was a young officer, briefing me on her thesis work when I was the carrier program manager almost 15 years ago. Even then, I knew she was on a path that would lead her to the top of her field. And now, she is on the precipice of something very historic. Anyone who has ever heard me speak knows how passionate I am about the importance of a diverse and inclusive workforce. The data is irrefutable. A diverse and inclusive workforce outperforms its competitors. And in this era of great power competition, we can afford nothing less. We must and we will win. A diverse and inclusive workforce also draws talent to it and gives everyone a reason to believe that if they work hard and compete, that they too can aspire to the top of the field. It's been too long coming, but as Dianna assumes command today, she will become the first female naval shipyard commander in our Navy's storied history. But hear me now, and make no mistake about it. Dianna Wolfson was chosen for this position for one reason and one reason only. She was absolutely the very best person for the job. Dan, I know you, like many trailblazers before you, didn't ask for this mantle, but you will carry it well, and you will inspire a whole new generation of leaders within our Navy. And you will do this because you personify the motto of the Merchant Marine Academy, Acta non verba, which means actions, not words. You have big shoes to fill, but you have my complete confidence that you will continue and improve upon the unbelievable legacy that Howard is leaving behind today. Congratulations again to both you and Matt. And so in closing, to the men and women of Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility, thank you for helping make NAVSEA the force behind the fleet. In this era of great power competition, it is the Navy who is going to be called upon more than ever to ensure we protect freedom around the world. And we have the world's greatest Navy because of the unbelievable work you do here each and every day. May God bless Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, our great Navy, and the United States of America. Thank you.
Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility, attention to award. Would the guests please rise? I will now read your award. The Secretary of the Navy takes great pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Unit Commendation to Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility for service set forth in the following citation. For meritorious service in the maintenance, innovation, and operational support for the United States Navy from 1 October 2015 to 8 March 2019. The personnel of Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility, through superior leadership, meticulous planning, and extraordinary team alignment, returned 3 aircraft carriers to the fleet on or ahead of its schedule, resulting in a significant combined maintenance cost reductions of $8.1 million, and enabled them to conduct the joint drill operations in the Western Pacific for the first time in years. The shipyard's expeditious emergent repairs to the USS Nimitz, while underway, ensured she was able to remain at sea with little effect on operational requirements. PSNS and IMF's focus on nonstop execution of critical path work, process improvement, and lessons learned allowed for an almost 3-month early completion of the inactivation availability of the USS Dallas. For the first time in 10 years, PSNS and IMF succeeded in the on-time completion of an Everett-based C&O availability for the USS Kidd. Exemplifying their dedication and efficiency through unprecedented results, PSNS and IMF completed a 6-month planned incremental availability on the USS Theodore Roosevelt 25 days early and ahead of schedule. Now more than ever, the Navy's operational readiness is critical, and PSNS and IMF is a key enabler. Through their exceptional performance, continued innovation, and devotion to the mission, the personnel of PSNS and IMF reflected great credit upon themselves and upheld the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. Signed, J.M. Richardson, Admiral, United States Navy, Chief of Naval Operations. Well done.
Guests, please be seated. Staff, at ease.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thank you. Thanks. So, a couple of faux pas so far. Doing any public math, well, again, in public is a crime. So if I attempt to do it here and screw it up, please, as you normally do with me, smile and nod your heads appropriately, and we'll just move on from it. The second one is the Admiral used Latin. I have no idea if that's the Merchant Marine Academy motto or not, but it sounds cool. The last thing I'd like to clarify, when a 3-star calls you and tells you that you've been nominated in his words, as his executive assistant, accepted is an interesting word. I just said yes, sir, and that's where I'm going. Like all award speeches and recognition, they are inadequate in that they never sufficiently cover all that an individual, team, or command has accomplished. The dates in the Meritorious Unit Commendation were chosen to begin with the start of fiscal year 2016 and end based upon the 3-month timeline it takes to get the award routed through the chain of command and get approved in order to have it here at the change of command. It provides a representative sampling of the significant mission accomplishments across the totality of the command. It intentionally does not call out any individuals, shops, codes, or detachments by name. Further, it does not diminish any of the accomplishments prior to the start of the award, nor any of the many other accomplishments during the award period or anything since. I would recognize all 15,000 of you by name, but we just don't have the time. So I will do my best to cover a bit more ground here to acknowledge your achievements and why each and every single one of you are so incredibly important to our command, the Navy, and our nation. I'm going to be repetitive, but we don't often say it enough. So if I say something that's already been said, listen to it again because it's important. It was you who for the first time in 10 years, delivered an Everett-based availability on time, completing the USS Kidd selected restricted availability on time and within budget. You quickly followed with the USS Sampson docking selected restricted availability, completing your second in a row, 1 day early and within budget. You recognize the Regional Maintenance Center is more than just contracting and contractor oversight via auditing and surveillance. It is a partnership with our private sector counterparts to achieve mutual success. You enable these greyhounds of the fleet to deploy in support of freedom of navigation missions in international waters off the coast of China, ballistic missile defense of our nation and our allies, and in defense of their assigned carrier strike groups. It was you who completed the 7th aircraft carrier availability in a row on time or early and within budget, and your 8th on time or early completion in the last 4 years. You completed the availabilities on USS Ronald Reagan, USS Nimitz, USS Theodore Roosevelt. Kevin, I'm sorry, I can't get USS Nimitz out of my mouth right. I apologize. I'll work on it. It says USS Nimitz about 10 more times in the speech. I'll get it right before the end. That enabled them to conduct the 2017 3-carrier joint exercise off the Korean Peninsula, the first time in over a decade. You completed the USS John C. Stennett's planned incremental availability, a record-breaking at the time, 5 days early, enabling a highly successful final deployment before her refueling overhaul. You shattered that record with a 25-day early completion on the subsequent Roosevelt Paya in San Diego. You then greeted the USS Abraham Lincoln to the 5th Fleet Area of Responsibility with an emergent flyaway repair team, ensuring she could respond to the latest turbulence in the Middle East. You completed the first time on-time carrier docking availability in more than a decade on USS Nimitz, and set a new record with a 5-day early completion for docking availabilities. It is you who maintain our most survivable leg of the nuclear deterrence. You completed the refueling of USS Maine 20 days faster than any previous refueling overhaul. Your innovation and improvement initiatives reduced the time of the latest engineering refueling overhaul by 20% from our previous. Your hard work and caretaking of the entire Ohio class enabled the service life extension from what was originally designed as a 30-year ship life to 42, enabling a successful transition to the future Columbia class. You maintained the one-offs of the SSGN and Seawolf class. In fact, you maintained the oldest aircraft carrier, the oldest SSGN, and the oldest SSBN in the fleet. You expertly overcome the challenges of aged systems, integrating legacy equipment with modernization, obsolescence issues, and countless other problems with unique one-of-a-kind systems and components. You ensured the USS Connecticut's short-fuse transition to support Arctic operations and under ice ops. You maintained the Seawolf and the Connecticut surge and deployment ready while expertly planning and executing an incredibly complex USS Jimmy Carter docking availability. You integrated production, engineering, contracting, and a local private sector small business contractor to develop an emergent repair plan to recover the USS Ohio hydraulic system. It was planned and contracted in just over a month and saved $41 million and 7 months over traditional methods. This repair epitomizes your tenacity and drive to keep Ohio and Michigan forward deployed, performing their vital missions in support of Special Operations Forces and formidable land attack cruise missile employment. That was for you, Jim. You are responsible for the nuclear submarine inactivations and solely responsible for the reactor compartment disposal and recycling of our nuclear submarine fleet. You have, over the last 4 years, reduced the cost of inactivation abilities by 16%. Here comes math. The docking durations by 40% from 15 to 9 months, and the availability duration by 27% from 15 to 11 months, ensuring the timely return of our highly trained submarine crews to the fleet. You developed the alternate inactivation construct to provide increased flexibility in shipyard workload and facilitating a 46% reduction in crew size, giving back 2.3 crew years to the fleet. You completed 6 is good, sir. 8 reactor compartment disposal packages on time, embodying the Navy's commitment of cradle-to-grave responsibility and stewardship of our nuclear warships. Maintenance and modernization of the start of man, train, and equip responsibility of the fleet commanders and their subordinate echelon commanders. It starts the deliberate journey to deploying unmatched naval superiority forward in support of the combatant commanders. You ensure our sailors of our Navy have the latest and greatest of these modern marvels. They are in top material condition, facilitating flawless execution of their missions, and most importantly, safe return home to their families and loved ones. You enable the critical humanitarian crisis response and diplomatic missions that our Navy has performed since inception. You maintain the deterrent to the warped ideology of the bad actors of the world who seek oppression, suppress freedom and democracy, and disrupt commerce and pursue their own materialistic, narcissistic self-interest. And if deterrence is not effective, you ensure the deliberate, decisive, prompt, and sustained response is available to calibrate their error in judgment. You do the basics of maintenance well. All too often, we go on a quest for the panacea, the rubric, the Rosetta Stone to maintenance. It lies in the day-to-day fundamentals, hard work, and tireless execution of the principles of our business. It is all about laser focus on our mission and the people who execute it. The breadth and scope of what is executed by this command is awe-inspiring. Even more breathtaking are the countless examples of deck plate ingenuity that aggregate to form the tsunami of improvement and innovation that has washed over the entire command. Others seek to understand your success. It is simple. Roll up your sleeves, hydrate yourself, prepare to get your hands dirty, and join us on the waterfront where great people do absolutely great things. They do it in concert with the enduring support of our local commands, our regional private sector partners, our surrounding communities, our local, state, and federal governments. I have enjoyed immensely being the second best shipyard, intermediate maintenance facility, and regional maintenance center with you. Before this is taken wrong or out of context, I do not mean that there is any better than each and every one of you, but rather it is the humble service to those we lead, those we serve with, our community, our Navy, and our nation that keeps us improving. You have not fallen victim to the arrogance of considering yourself at the apex of the curve with nothing more to learn. You have not labeled yourself a center of excellence. You continue to be dedicated, self-critical maintainers striving for excellence, who have earned the respect, admiration, and appreciation of those you serve. Our people-centric principles and values are the bedrock of who we are as an organization, why you are successful, and should never be abandoned for some flashy reality TV-esque sales pitch branding that will quickly fizzle into unmemorable history. Captain Wolfson, the saddest day of my command tour was absolutely when I received your orders, because it signaled the end of my time here. I will remain jealous of you and all who follow us in command. While it is mathematically impossible to be the second best shipyard commander, I am confident that in a few moments, I will definitely be the second best person on stage to have served as commander, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility. I look forward to your many future successes. Someone asked me recently about my thoughts on the ongoing discussions of the era of great power competition, our narrowing competitive edge, cybersecurity risks, and the like. While we should remain vigilant of the many threats that exist in the world, it is, of course, why we do what we do, what our mission is, and vision speaks to, and why we have the many professionals throughout the command who ensure that we are ahead of the power curve. However, I will definitely sleep well tonight knowing that you and the incredible men and women of Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility, Trident Refit Facility, and the Northwest Regional Maintenance Center have the watch. You should be incredibly proud of your many accomplishments. I know I am, and there are many people in line behind me who feel the same way. Thanks for all you do. I will now read my orders.
Staff, attention to orders.
Buber's Order 1219. Coincidentally, the day of the greatest set of orders I will ever execute. Excuse me. I had a well up once during this, the PAO told me. Joe, I thank God for the many blessings in my life, but most of all for you and our children, who have helped me become the man I am today. Thanks for all your sacrifices and support of me and all that I do. When directed by Reporting Senior, detach in June 2019 from duty as Commander, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility. While it will never be the great honor and privilege it is to have served in command, by the way, this is written in the orders, a compensation would be to serve in what is every commander's post-command dream job and for one of the greatest leaders the United States Navy has ever seen. It then goes on to say, however, that job was not available. So when directed, detach and report as Executive Assistant to Commander, Naval Sea Systems Command. I am reluctantly ready to be relieved.
Captain Dianna Wolfson, United States Navy, Prospective Commander, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility.
I will now read my orders. Bupers Order 0709. Report no later than June 2019 for duty as Commander, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility. Captain Markle, I am ready to relieve you.
Guests, please be seated. Staff at ease. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Dianna Wolfson, Commander, Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility.
Thank you. Thank you. I am very humbled to be here in front of all of you this morning. Thank you, Vice Admiral Moore, distinguished visitors, honored flag officers, respected shipyard leaders, fellow commanding officers, friends and family, and most importantly, the workforce of this great shipyard. It is an honor to be your shipyard commander. My parents could not be here today, but I do believe they are watching on Facebook. I'm going to check that out. And as a note, my mother actually taught my father everything electronic growing up, VCR, setting time, all of those things. So my mom actually taught my father that. But as I go on, my father taught me a few things too. Thank you very much to my husband, Matt, Madison, my daughter, Hunter, my son. You are my world, and I couldn't survive without you. Thank you very much. My husband's parents, Marcia and Tony, congratulations on your anniversary. Thank you for coming. Dana, my sister, and her husband Ron, Zachary, Gabriella, thank you very much for coming. And of course, my dear mentors, Admiral Select Brown, Captain Zykowski, Susie, Missy, Evan, I don't see him there, but thank you guys for coming. Captain Terry, retired, thank you very much for coming. Dear mentors of mine, and of course, Admiral Berkey, Admiral Whitney, Admiral Williamson, the list goes on. I've been cultivated and mentored my whole life, and I feel very fortunate for that. Similarly, my Merchant Marine Academy tribe, Acta Non Verba here, who I haven't seen in quite some number of years, that came, and I'm so privileged to be in your presence of many great women. So thank you, Marcy, Susan, Adria, Tiffany, Tara, all of you for coming. I really appreciate it. Dear friends that I have known for a very long time, my entire career, who have traveled across the coast, thank you very much for coming. That's Jeanette, I see you out there, thank you very much. Beth, newly retired, thank you, and Scott, thank you very much for coming. And of course, Pam and Jeanette, thank you for coming as well. And my shipyard family as well, Jip and Pat, thank you also for coming. So I really appreciate it. I would like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude, and really that's simply not enough, to Captain Howard Markle. It is clear that you are leaving a legacy, and it is truly an honor to follow in your footsteps. I would also like to thank the entire team who spent hours, endless hours, planning this change of command. What a great event. You have set the bar high. So I wanted to take just a few minutes to provide some insight on who I am and share some of my personal thoughts with you, but also relate my upbringing, which I feel is a big reason that I'm actually standing in front of you here today. When I was a young girl, my father taught me 4 words, not just how to spell them, but the definition and the meaning. He taught me the importance of discipline, responsibility, integrity, and patience. And when we weren't singing oldies, he would quiz me on our car rides to the horse barn on the U.S. Army post. I was always proud to spell them perfectly, but I never realized the true maintenance, the true importance of their true meaning until much later in life. You see, my dad was very wise, as most dads are, because his words are very similar to those used by the CNO in his design for maintaining maritime superiority. And those are accountability, initiative, integrity, and toughness. Discipline, similar to accountability, is to understand our motives such that our actions support our mission, to put the shipyard ahead of self at all times, to have the discipline in our interactions to show one another that the individual in front of you is the most important person at that instant in time. Responsibility, similar to initiative, is to build an organization that has expertise, as though you don't need a boss, with cognizant people that own the decisions behind their thinking. Integrity, well, my dad was spot on in being aligned with the CNO, is to be a person of your word. Always do what is right and honor your commitments. You own it, it can't be stolen, and you must protect it with your life. Finally, patience, that we have the emotional intelligence to intensely listen and seek to deeply understand, then respond. Such patience is a sign of humility, respect, and valuing the other person's perspective rather than prioritizing your own. And it is then that we achieve toughness. As the CNO said, through rigorous training, the fighting spirit of our people, and the steadfast support of our families, we must maintain a culture of excellence in our mission to maintain, modernize, and retire our nation's fleet. We don't give up the ship, or shipyard in our case. We never give up on our shipmates, and we never give up on ourselves. We are never out of the fight. We take a hit and we keep going, tapping all sources of strength and resilience, both within ourselves and collectively within our high-performing teams. Such values are central to our success as an organization. Commit to living these values personally and professionally. Make a difference each day, and you can change the world. Make it personal and be relentless about it with that toughness. Value discipline, responsibility, integrity, and patience. And we do this as one team. We hold each other accountable in achieving our mission with the understanding our successes and failures are shared. Together, we are one team in the mission of relentlessly chasing best ever performance in the stewardship of our nation's naval assets. I've always felt a close rapport with our nation's shipyards. What drives me above all else is the exhibiting of care and the expanding of opportunities for our people. For many years, I've lived by the mantra, if you take care of your people, they'll take care of you. And I see that here. I think the people piece of the business is so important because it's the people who do the work. It's the people who make change, and it's the people who drive results. I look forward to bringing value and contributing to this high-performing Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility team. I've had many great opportunities so far in my naval career, but the greatest opportunity of all is the one before me at this very moment, serving the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility workforce. While I've aspired to this moment since I first took my military oath, this is not the culmination of my naval career, but rather the start of its most important and exciting chapter. Thank you for accepting me into your shipyard family. I look forward to being your advocate, your supporter, and most importantly, your biggest fan. So thank you.
Guests, please rise and remain standing for the benediction and departure of the official party. Father Derek Lappy will now deliver the benediction.
Let us pray. Bless us, Lord, before we go our separate ways. Bless Howard and his family. Look with pride and satisfaction upon his years of faithful service here in the shipyard in support of the freedom and defense of this great nation, both in war and in peace. Keep them always safe. As we congratulate and thank Captain Markle and welcome Captain Wolfson and her family, we look to you, Heavenly Father, that those who serve may inspire all of us to give heroically of ourselves. Send your divine blessing upon all our military men and women, especially those deployed at this moment in harm's way. And remember, Lord, in your mercy, all who have paid the ultimate price with their lives for our freedom. Give them, we ask you, eternal refreshment, light, and peace. Amen.
Staff, attention. Bosun, post the side boys.
Saddles, left, right face.
Naval Sea Systems Command, departing. Captain, United States Navy, departing. Puget Sound Naval Shipyard and Intermediate Maintenance Facility, departing. Ushers, please escort the official party's families to the reception area. This concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for your attendance. Please allow the official party and our honored guests to depart first. Shipyard employees will exit the building on the Dry Dock 3 side. Staff, dismissed.